pọ́lọ́ ní ẹ̀rọ pẹ́lẹ́ wá bí kẹ́ máa ṣe bí pọ́lọ́ ní bẹ́ẹ̀ lára gbogbo yín wà pa ó dé bí oní ṣátá yẹ́yẹ́.
Why is everything politics and violence to these people? What are thugs doing in the vicinity of a magistrate court, intimidating and attacking friends and associates that came for Dele Farotimi? Obviously, they were intimidated by the small crowd that filled up the magistrate court. But despite all that, the magistrate still sent him back to prison to be detained for additional 10 days before he can decide the bail. Also, some Nigerians gathered and protested at King's College, London. It might not be as huge as they wanted, but at least half bread is better than none. Anyway, more court cases are filing up for human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi, who is currently being detained in an Ekiti prison for a charge of criminal defamation against Are Babalola. Of course, his lawyer argued yesterday at the magistrate court that the charge for which he was brought to Ekiti State Magistrate Court no longer exists in Ekiti State. Ekiti State expunged the criminal defamation law from their laws in 2021. So the lawyer was challenging the competence of the magistrate court by entertaining a non-existent charge. But the magistrate still failed to free him yesterday. Rather, he sent him back to prison for a further 10 days, pending when he will decide the bail. Now to the latest one. Many of you must know this guy, Kainde Ogumumiju. His mother is a Supreme Court Justice and he's a partner to Are Babalola's chambers. He filed this motion at an Abuja High Court and it was granted. He's seeking to confiscate all Dele Farotimi's books from roving heights from all the sellers in Nigeria. He also sought an order which was granted to stop Amazon, Roving Heights, all the sellers in Nigeria to stop selling this book. Now to the most important one. He also sought from the court, which was equally granted, that all the sellers, including Amazon, all of them that are selling it, should channel the royalties to him. That means he wants them to pay all the money that is due to Dele Farotimi to them. Yes, sort of, they are trying to recover part of the 500 million naira claim they have made in court. He wants them to start getting the money. That's even before the hearing starts on the defamation suit. So how does this really work? Someone can just wake up and approach any court and file for a motion, and the court will approve the motion without seeing the accused person or the respondent. In this case, Dele Farotimi, the court didn't require him to come there and say, this is why you will not grant this motion. Yes, I wrote the book. I mentioned names of senior lawyers in the book, but I have evidence to prove myself that I did not defame these people that I mentioned their names. So without hearing from the respondent, the court granted motions that could cost him millions of naira. Yes, that's what it means. If truly that this motion is enforceable, that they can go to all the bookstores where these books are displayed and being sold and confiscate all of them, and even somehow force them to pay back the money they are supposed to remit to Dele Farotimi, and they take possession of this money if they are able to enforce the motion, that means you could be sleeping in your home, someone will go to court and take over your property. That is what it means. Without you being brought to that court, without you knowing about it. Well, this is not surprising. Exactly what Dele Farotimi explained in the press conference, that he got intelligence from people from Ekiti State that he was about to be abducted from Lagos and transported to Ekiti State to face trial. He was supposed to come to court, he didn't come, no one served him, and eventually everything happened exactly the same way he said it. The Nigerian judiciary should be very careful here, despite the fact that Dele Farotimi is the one in Ekiti prison. But they and the entire criminal justice system are the ones on trial. Nigerians are seeing everything that Dele Farotimi wrote in that book because their approach made the book very popular, pushed it to one of the bestsellers on Amazon. So it is them that are on trial. Everyone is looking at them, and everything Dele Farotimi wrote in that book are playing out before our very eyes. How fast they grant motions without hearing from respondents, how fast they rule on certain matters. Everything is like a movie playing out. Now to the second civil suit against Dele Farotimi. This one is coming from one of the lawyers he mentioned in the book, Adebayo Adenipekun. This one is called, like he said, is writ of summons. It reads, "You are hereby commanded that within 30 days of the service of this writ on you, inclusive of the day of such service, you do cause an appearance to be entered for you in an action at the suit of Adebayo Adenipekun SAN, and take notice that in default of your doing so, the claimant may proceed therein and judgment may be given in your absence." Dated 9th day of December. This one is at the Oyo State High Court. At least this one from Oyo State gave him 30 days to appear, whether in person or send another lawyer to represent him. If by chance he's still in detention within the 30 days, he can send someone. Even if he appears by himself, he cannot defend himself when he's the respondent. He must get another lawyer to stand on his behalf. Now, this one is better. That's if better is the word. They gave him 30 days to appear, while that of Abuja High Court didn't even give him 1 hour. A motion was tabled. They just hit the gavel without minding whether the person is telling the truth, or did they take this short time to read all the book to ascertain whatever the claimant is claiming, whether it's correct or not. This is the controversy surrounding Nigerian judiciary. One court follows a different rule, a different procedure. Another court does something completely different. There's no known rule that everyone must follow. This explains why judges interpret Nigerian laws and statutes differently. You will approach Judge A to interpret a particular law. He will say something different. You will approach Judge B. Judge B will say no, the other one was wrong, that this is the correct interpretation. So it makes a mess of the whole thing, and the worst part is that when certain interpretations have already been done by the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, it should serve as a precedent. All judges seeing the same interpretation in the future must follow the interpretation of the Supreme Court because they've done it already. You don't need to go against what they have done. But in Nigeria, they will go against it, telling you to appeal, go to court, like they normally say. So this is a huge problem. Something that is written in black and white, in plain English. People find ways to interpret it the way they want. No one can take such judiciary seriously. And besides, this wasn't what Dele Farotimi expected. They are just getting motions, summons and all that. No, they should approach it as a civil defamation suit. You file a civil defamation suit against someone, the person will come and say, no, I didn't defame you. And the onus is on you that brought him to court to prove that truly what he published, what he said, defamed you as a person, that it hurt your reputation, it hurt your business. You're supposed to come to court and say it. And in trying to prove himself, that's if he chooses, in trying to say that he did not defame anyone, he will bring out the evidence that he has. He will say, you did this also time, look at the proof, look at this, look at that. And he will prove that it was something that truly happened, that he published, that is not a making of his own, that he didn't dream it up to just come and say it and write in his book. So this will unravel many things that they don't know people knew about. All their underhand dealings, all their secret dealings, it will unravel them. It will even damage their reputation more. That's if they really had any reputation in the first place. Yes, that was exactly how Dele Farotimi wanted to handle whatever would come up after the publication of the book. He expected them to take him to a civil court to charge him for defamation. He believes in the judiciary despite always criticizing them and trying to hold them to account. He always uses the court to fight all his fights, and he always gets justice. He knows his way around. But it seems these people are only interested in going after his property, trying to corner his money, everything. They're not interested in going the whole hog in the civil defamation suit because it takes time. It's not something the court will wake up and decide. It might take up to 2 to 5 years to decide. Let's end with this one he revealed in one of his videos. He never made it public during the 6 years the court process ran. Some people were hounding him. They wanted him to pay 200 and something million naira through the EFCC, and he eventually won at the appeal court.
It is not my style to bring my persecution by the system to the public space. Never. I have dealt with the numerous challenges and attacks that I've experienced in my life from the system and operatives of the system without coming to the public to talk about them, because I believe they are private to me, and as a citizen, quote and unquote, we will continue to test the boundaries of the law to find solutions to these problems and challenges. For 6 years, I was dragged through the courts. I was sentenced effectively to a term of life imprisonment unless I paid the sums of about, I think, 214 million naira. The EFCC was pressed into evil agency. For 6 years, I was taken through the court systems. It took the Court of Appeal to free me. You can look up the case, Dele Farotimi versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I never came to the public space to talk about it. I took it. I never once came to you to tell you what I was dealing with. 6 years. It took the Court of Appeal, Lagos Division, to free me in a 2-1 majority decision, something that should never ever have proceeded to any court. I suffered the betrayal of one of the gods of men in this town, left wounded, grievously wounded on the battlefield. I never once came to this place to talk about it, and I still would not.